Welcome to the Standard Discovery Module demo. I always tell people that the most important step in the sales process is your discovery or needs analysis. Deals are won and lost here. If you've heard the saying garbage in, garbage out. So if you have a garbage in discovery, and if you're not asking the right questions and you're not asking relevant questions that map to key outcomes, then you are greatly reducing your chances of winning and converting these deals. And again, that's why it says here, key customer outcomes. Remember what I said from the earlier video. Every action in life is driven by value and outcomes. Okay. And so this will take you through some of the discovery questions here. And granted, you can ask your own questions, but these are some really good ones that I have found work very well across many industries, many domains, many regions, various personas that get me to a place of quantified insight and quantified value, right? Quantification is the unifier. Just remember that. Value is very subjective. Even though value is the universal currency of all business, it can become very diluted, vague, and subjective if you are not adding metrics to it. For example, I may say, I want to get healthier this year. Okay, well, what does that mean? You want to get healthier? Are you talking about from a weight standpoint, a BMI standpoint, blood sugar levels? Are you talking about cholesterol? Like, there are many indicators and metrics that are tied to health. The same way when it comes to business, businesses say, we want to be more efficient. Well, that's very vague. Efficiency is actually a metric. We'll get into that in another discussion, but efficiency is something that can absolutely be measured. There's a range of scoring efficiency. And again, if customers don't understand their starting point, how will they know how to chart their path towards improvement? So again, just like with the pre-call planning module, I've already pre-populated a lot of this information, but I'll take you into some of the questions. So I'll just hit edit. And again, it gives you another prompt just as a reminder. A lot of you are seasoned sellers. And so I'm not saying you don't know how to sell, but there are things that we need reminders of sometimes. We need to always sharpen our tool set, right? Performing an effective customer discovery needs analysis is critical in determining the highest priorities from your customers, from your prospective customers. It allows you to objectively qualify and quantify their potential needs. It helps to reduce assumptions and subjectivity and focuses on gathering the most relevant data points that allows you and your team to obtain a unified view of the customer's challenges. That's a big bottleneck a lot of times is, a lot of times we work with many stakeholders, but their view of the business is very different. The way they describe their business is very different. Well, you can't um, move in a progressive direction until you're all speaking the same language. Everybody has to row in the same direction. And so this is a way of starting that journey. Okay. So again, what's the performance outcome? And again, I left this empty because I want you to have autonomy and flexibility to be able to fill some of this out on your own. This is not a script. It's just a template. Okay. It's a template, just like Medic, MedPick, Challenger, Sandler, like it's a template, but it gives you more guidance on what you should be looking for, what I like to call the metrics that matter. Okay. So the first performance outcome is to improve product quality and compliance. Okay. This is a big one and it is measurable. This will lead to improved operational efficiency. Okay. Now, what are the metrics tied to that outcome? Faster outcomes, faster time to market, risk reduction, cost savings, right? These are drop downs. You can just select whichever ones you want. Okay. And then what are the quantifiable success metrics related to these outcomes or improvements? Ensure they are numeric. We want to improve performance outcomes by 10%. That is something very specific, very objective. There's no wiggle room there. That is measurable. We can track that. We can manage that. And so what we want to do with this platform is to help train your brains to start thinking in numeric terms, because that's what's going to move the needle. And that's really what's going to get the attention, or at least put you in a position to get the attention of executive stakeholders and gain that executive buy-in. All right. Now, what are the quantifiable success metrics related to the second outcome? What's the second outcome? To reduce risk. Well, we want to reduce risk by 1.2 million per quarter. That is very specific. That is very measurable. That is very objective, right? And then the third one, cost savings. We want to reduce overall operational expense by 20%, right? Push your customers to give you this insight, right? Because again, they say they want to achieve an outcome. All right, well, give me a number. They all have KPIs. All your customers have KPIs. They have a way to measure performance, right? Well, how are you doing against that performance? How are you trying to improve that performance? Give me a number, right? It's okay to push them for those types of responses. Now, what's the timeline? This gets into your basic BANT, right? Something that's time bound. What's an ideal timeline to begin to realize these improvements? Well, they say 18 to 24 months. Okay, that's going to help you with forecasting too. Sometimes you may think, oh, it's urgent. It has to be done yesterday. You're like, no, we got a year and a half to 2 years. You know, we've got some time. So it can help you with planning, resource planning, forecasting, and things like that from your side. Then you want to understand who benefits from these outcomes. Understanding that will help give you leverage. If somebody tries to push back, or your deal is dragging or lagging or whatever, right? You can go back to your customer and say, well, I thought the entire quality team would benefit, right? If you don't make these changes, what risk are the quality team, is the quality team going to experience, right? Are you in danger of employee burnout? Are you in danger of employee attrition? Like, those things matter, right? And then how do they benefit? So who benefits? How do they benefit? And then what's the greatest challenging to achieving those outcomes, right? You can just fill this out, whatever they say. And a lot of times, I mean, I know a lot of us use like conversation intelligence tools. We use Zooms, we use Teams, we use Gong, we use things like that. Just take what comes from your transcript, right? You don't have to type this stuff in when you're on the call. You can if you like, but leverage the tools you have, but then take that transcribed data and drop it into this format and watch magic happen. I'm telling you, you're going to be super, super impressed by the output. So make it easier on yourself. I'm not saying you have to text all this in. You can if you like, and you can edit. So it gives you the ability to edit your text. But man, listen, if you're already recording your calls and you're transcribing those calls, take that transcript and drop it in here, right? And then finally, what are the top alternatives being considered to achieve this outcome? Are you looking to acquire a tool, reduce headcount, something else, outsource, do nothing? Maybe inertia has taken over. They're like, yeah, we're happy being stuck, I guess. I don't know. But those things are really important to understand about your customer. Okay. Now, if you want, you can add a second performance outcome. You can add as many as you need to. But again, that's based on the main outcome, right? But we're not going to add anything else here. We don't really need to. Again, it was just for demonstration purposes. And so now you've got everything captured here, very structured, very organized. And you can also, again, download this PDF if you need to upload that to your CRM. You can do that too. But these are very important elements to capture, because you can drop that again into AI tool of your choosing, and it will produce a very stellar business case for you. So again, these are the high level discovery questions. Next, we're going to get into like workflow mapping, the granular process components of it, and then we'll do a comparison. Okay. So stay tuned for that video next.